All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Fitness Education Online podcast. I am super excited because we've got a rock star on the other line this week, all the way from Vancouver, Washington. This man is an expert when it comes to the online fitness business space. Long story short, in 2020, he managed to take 4 online businesses from 0 to 7 figures. So I'm super excited to speak to this man and hear about how he did it. So without further ado, let me introduce the one and only Mr. Iggy Odighizuwa. How are you?
Yeah, that's actually really good. Your first time pronouncing it. I mean, you said it live on the spot. I thought you were going to practice a little bit, but you nailed it.
Yeah, I was impressed. Well, I wrote down how to pronounce it. I'm like, the only way I'm going to get it is if I do this phonetically. So I'm glad I got it. Iggy, I like to start all my podcasts off with a quote or mantra that inspires you or fires you up. Have you got one for us?
Yes. My favorite quote slash mantra is just build with the end in mind in all that
Mm,
you do. It helps me think about the future. It helps me do the things today with the future in mind so that I never do anything short-sighted.
yes, love that. I'm a huge fan of that philosophy myself. I've up on my wall, here's my long-term goal. Here's what I want to achieve. All right, cool. To do that, what are the short-term goals I need to achieve that? And then it just makes life
Absolutely.
easier. I'll before I finish work tonight, I'll have a look at my goals. All right, what have I got to do? What's going to bring me closer? Cool. Here are the things I'm going to do tomorrow to bring me closer. So
Yeah, it makes your life simple. And then it makes really helps you avoid doing stupid shit that's gonna keep you away from your goals. That's really the easiest way to do it.
yes, love that. Now, Iggy, I've been following you on Instagram for a little while now. I've seen your ads pop up all over my news feed as well on Facebook, so I know what it is you do. But if someone's listening to this and they haven't come across you yet, let us know in a nutshell, what is it you do? How do you help fitness professionals?
We help fitness professionals simply just kind of grow and scale their businesses online. Um, and we do it by helping them build systems,
Mm,
right? And installing acquisition systems, like systems that get them clients and systems that help them deliver their coaching to their clients in a more scalable fashion.
yes, love that. And what I recommend everyone do is jump on and follow Iggy on Instagram now. I'll put the links down in the show notes, but it's simply Iggy underscore fitness underscore 180. I recommend checking out his Instagram. He's got a whole heap of followers on there and he posts a whole heap of cool stuff. Now, Iggy, what I was hoping to talk about today, on your Instagram bio, it says you've taken multiple fitness businesses from 0 to 7 figures. Now, there's going to be a lot of people listening to this that are on 0. There's going to be not so many that are on 7 figures.
Yeah.
So let us know the start point. Let's say someone's listening to this, they want to get online. They've sort of half got an idea. Well, no, let's say that they want to get online. They know they want to do it, but they're currently at 0. They've got no online clients. Where do they start? Even if they don't want to get to 7 figures in a year, where do you recommend they start?
Yeah. I mean, the beautiful thing about kind of like what we've got going is that, about 80% of our clients build a multiple six-figure online fitness business. All right. So you got like an 8 out of 10 chances of actually like making that happen.
Woo.
Um, so if you're starting from scratch and you don't have anything whatsoever, again, for us, our motto is we want to build with the end in mind. And
Mm,
then our second most popular motto is quality and efficiency over speed.
mm,
Right. So we try to help our clients adopt this mindset of building efficiently. Right. So we heavily leverage paid traffic in our program, and we help clients start using paid traffic to quickly skyrocket how fast they can build their business, right? So organic marketing does work if you're really tight on a budget and you're okay with investing an absurd amount of time into making it happen, right? But again, it kind of goes against our values where we're like quality and efficiency over speed. So I want to be efficient and highly leveraged with my time. So I want to try and do as little as possible and get the maximum results, right? So first thing that we do with somebody who's starting from scratch is first we need to nail their market, right? Who do you want to work with? What kind of service do you want to deliver? And we want to help you lay a foundation where what you're doing is in alignment with who you are and your core values. Because if you have that out of alignment at the beginning, you're going to be miserable. You're not going to be motivated to put in the kind of effort that you need to grow and build a movement that's going to change your life and allow you to have an impact, right? So that's the first thing that we do. Once we know that, the next thing that we want to do is, okay, so we know that, all right, now let's get the system in place that's going to allow you to have leverage, right? Most people will say, okay, now you know your market, let's start doing a ton of organic marketing and all these different stuff. But it's like, all right, so now that you have your market, let's actually put together a blueprint for what you want to deliver to them, right? How do you want to change their lives? What are the things that you want to offer them? Because I found for me personally, trying to sell something without an idea of what I want to deliver to people just went against my core value. And it made it really hard for me to sell, because I'm like, well, shoot, I don't even have anything for this person. Like, what am I selling them? Right. So we like to help our clients have a very clear idea of what that looks like, because we know if there's somebody with integrity and they really want to change people's lives, they're in this for the right reasons, and they're not just looking to just sell people just for the sake of selling them and making a quick buck, right? So they're most likely going to have the same challenges that I had trying to follow different mentors who told me, like, don't even bother putting it together, just start trying to sell it before you even know what you're delivering, right? And I thought I sucked at sales because I couldn't sell anybody, and it turns out I didn't suck at sell. I just sucked at selling something I didn't believe in. Right. So this is like the first two really, really foundational steps that we take all of our clients through. And once we nail those two things, now it's like, all right, let's build your operating system, because we know what systems you need to actually run the business efficiently. And that takes people, maybe like a week and a half to have that system in place. And once that system's in place, now we're like, all right, it's time to feed the beast. Let's start doing some lead generation, doing some marketing, getting you on the phone with prospects who have an interest in what you want to do. And that's kind of like the short version of what that process looks like. And then from there, once they're launched, it's all about optimizing, making data-driven decisions, tracking their numbers, understanding the analytics and what the market is saying, through the lens of actually just looking at the numbers.
Yes.
Right.
Love that.
And
wow. Okay. Let's
there's rinse and repeat.
Cool.
Go ahead.
Okay. Let's dive into this a little bit more. I love how you got those four there. Let me ask a couple questions on all of these. So the first step is really knowing our market. Hey, who do we want to serve? How do we want to help them? And let's make sure it's in alignment with what we want to do. Because if it's not, it's gonna suck. And the way I sort of look about it, like, I'm only going to do something if it's a fuck yeah. If I've got to be, if I'm not 100% passionate about helping that person, I'm not going to do it.
Exactly.
It's just, I'm not going to put in those extra effort. I'm going to, log off a few minutes early. I'm not going to, really give it my all. So I think that part's important there. Can you give us any tips, Iggy? If someone's listening to this and they're like, because maybe they've come from a face-to-face space where they help everyone. They're in a gym and they'll take whatever client they can get, doesn't quite work like that online. Do you have any tips for anyone on how they can figure out who they want to help, or how they can figure that out, or how they can test the market before they go all in? What can you tell
them? I typically, like, especially if they've worked with somebody in person, and that's typically really our ideal clients that we like to work with, is you need to have legitimate expertise, right? You need to know what you're doing. You need to have, like, worked with people before, and, like, be in a position where you have some type of knowledge to offer and some legitimate value to bring to the marketplace, because that makes figuring out your audience so much easier. If you've had a couple of years working as a personal trainer, like, the types of people you absolutely don't like, and the types of people you really enjoy working with. So it's a matter of like reverse engineering and unpacking what about them did you like, what are like the common patterns as far as like who they are, where they're from, things like that. What are the common characteristics, and figuring out how does that align with what you really want to do. All right. So typically if somebody doesn't have an idea on what their market looks like, it's best to kind of start with themselves, right? Who do you like get along with the most? What types of people do you find yourself easily communicating with, right? And how would you like to communicate with? What are like, who are the people in your life that just get your language? Like you can be direct with them, you can be blunt, you don't have to be beat around the bush or be politically correct. It's just like those, that's really the kind of client you want to try and attract, because then it's like you have that instant connection and they're speaking the same languages as you. So it's figuring out who those people are. And once we start to figure that out, we give our clients like worksheets for them to fill out, just kind of start to take what they have in here and put it on paper, you know? And then we just kind of go from there. So it's like, if you don't know what that is, figuring out who do you really get along with? All right, who have you worked with in the past that you really enjoy? What types of people typically speak the same language as you? Right. And when I say the same language, it's not like literally the same language, although it helps if they speak the same actual language. But it's like the people that I work with in our, I mean, we still have our own online fitness businesses that we run. So the people that we attract with our marketing are people who are very blunt and direct. Right. So in our ads and in the type of way that we communicate with the market, we're like, hey, if you're soft, like you have no business even working with me, because I'm not going to tolerate any BS whatsoever. Right. So it's figuring out what that is. And then once you nail that, it makes everything else so much easier.
Yes, I love that. So I'll piggyback off that, and then I've got a follow-up question. Even that example that Iggy worked there, probably people listening to this, half of you will probably agree with it and be like, yeah, that's what I want. That's the type of trainer I want, you know? But the other half are going to be like, man, that guy sounds like a dick. You know, I don't want to work with someone like that. I want someone soft, which is fine, right?
Exactly.
Because if you try and help everyone, you're going to end up helping no one. If you try and be in the middle, if you try and be vanilla, yeah, I'm going to help everyone, you're not going to hit either side, because those people that want a hard ass aren't going to train with you. And those people that want a soft person isn't going to train with you anyway, right? But he's
Exactly.
picked his side of the fence and he's going to relate to those people that do. And then you could be the complete opposite. Someone could go and do an ad which is the complete opposite. Hey, you know those hard ass trainers? You know, they're not what's good for you. What's good for you is someone that understands you and is gentle and eases you back into it, yada, yada, yada. Same thing. Iggy's people are that's going to turn them off. Oh, who's this soft trainer? I don't want to be with them. But someone that
Exactly.
wants the soft trainer is going to be attracted to that person.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing about online is we were just talking about this on our podcast. The beautiful thing about online space is the market is so big. There is millions of people who fit into that demographic, or who resonate with that message. You know, for me, I personally be put off with it. Like, no, I'm not attracted to that at all. Right. And there's millions of people who would love a trainer like that, who seems so genuine, so understanding, so nurturing, all these different things, all these fantastic qualities that I don't display naturally. I have a harder exterior. Right. So for me, I can't stand when people beat around the bush. I'm like, just give it to me straight. Don't try and spare my feelings. I'm not going to be offended. Right. So those are the types of people that I want to attract with our marketing. And we have clients who go completely opposite, which is great. Right. It's figuring out what that is for you. And once you know it, man, everything else becomes so much easier for you.
Yes, love it. And to piggyback off that as well, it goes back to what Iggy said earlier about being congruent with your beliefs. You know, Iggy would probably hate his life if he's like, oh, I've got someone that I need to be gentle with and I need to break it down to them gently. He's going to be stressed. He's not going to enjoy work. But now he's like targeting that one person and he can vibe with that one person there, which probably give him energy. So I love that.
Exactly.
Now,
Exactly.
you've spoken a lot about the type of person. Is it just as important to figure out the type of training as well? Is it like, great, here's my person, but I only want to do this type of training with that person? Or is it like, you know what, I've got this person, I can write a few different programs depending on what their goals are? What's your take there?
Yeah. So you need both the type of person and the mechanism, right? And this is what we call your unique methodology.
Mm.
All right. Once you figure out the person, then you're building out a methodology as far as like, how are you going to service them? What are you going to deliver to them? What does that need to look like? And those will allow you to, so by targeting, like knowing the type of person, right, we've effectively kind of figured out like kind of like your niche, right? And then with your unique methodology, you've effectively created your own sub niche within that niche, right? And now you have people and you have something unique to offer to those types of people who would see that and be like, wow, I need that. That's exactly what I need, right? And then it's just going to be rinse and repeat. If you have multiple different things that you want to eventually offer, right, it's best to start off with one thing, one result for one specific type of person, systemize the hell out of it, right? Get it to a point where what we have, it runs itself, and then you can essentially rinse and repeat and create something different for maybe the same type of person who would be interested in a different variation of it or what have you.
Yes, love it. Okay, let's spend a minute there because that's sort of moving on to the next point anyway, the systems, the delivery, the program.
Yeah.
So I love how you mentioned start with one, don't be like, all right, cool. I know who I want to work with. Cool. Let me come up with 4 or 5 different programs for these people here and try and plug all of them. Like sell one first, master one first
Absolutely.
for 2 reasons, right? Number one, it's going to be easier to sell if you've just got the one. But also number 2, it's going to be easier to give that person results. It's like, great, I've got this one person. Actually, let's talk about that unique mechanism because I think that's important as well. If you're just like, hey, I help people lose weight with this online program, it's okay. It's good that you've got a niche, but these people have probably tried and failed at things before. So I do think
Yeah.
it's important to have something. It doesn't have to be super different, but I think you need something, whatever it is. It's like
Absolutely.
if it's like a matter of, hey, I help guys, get in shape by the ketogenic diet. That's my thing. I'm the keto guy, or I'm the intermittent fasting guy, or I'm the Atkins guy, or I'm the kettlebell guy, or I'm the body weight guy, or I'm the HIIT guy, something there that the person hasn't tried before. That's my
Yeah.
take. What's your take on that, Iggy?
I agree even with that. We take it like a step further and figure out, what is your philosophy with this take? There are many different philosophies with like keto. There's many different philosophies with Atkins or whatever. It's like, what's your take on it? Right? What about it? What your beliefs or how you approach it, what about it makes you different? Right? If you have a different approach and you're able to figure out how you interpret it and like how you deliver, like what makes you different or what makes your take or philosophy different from everybody else, now we hone in on that and now we're building a unique methodology around that. It's like, okay, so this is what makes me different. Now we're essentially branding it differently, we're essentially positioning it differently, and now you have a unique methodology that allows you to stand out from the competition. There are tons of people who follow the keto diet, but maybe not the way that you do. Right? Maybe they haven't developed the same kind of beliefs or philosophies around it that you have, and you can position yourself as this unique specialist in the market for people who want to follow the ketogenic diet.
Yes, love it. Awesome. All right. Then we sort of optimize it. We've got this program here. Cool. We know what we're delivering. Let's optimize it, make it better. Let's move on to the feed the beast part. Now it's like, great. I know who I want to serve. I got this program. I've tried it on a few people and it's helped them, or I've made a few sales and it's helped them. Great. Now let's scale. I love how you mentioned paid ads. I'm a huge paid ads fan myself. And let's even spend a minute here because I think when starting off, I think the viewpoint is, why would I pay for advertising if I can do it for free? Why would I pay for Facebook ads if I could do it for free? Now I know the answer to that, but I'd love to hear your take, Iggy. Someone said that to you, Iggy. You're telling me to pay for Facebook ads. Why don't I just do it for free on Facebook? What's your answer?
We actually break down kind of like a math for people, right? So most people who are doing things organically spend hours, either cold DMing people, spend hours working on content to post, following up with people, to potentially find one person who would be interested in having a consult with them, right? So let's say you are charging yourself what you need to be charging as a CEO, which is approximately, anywhere from 80 to 150 bucks an hour for your time, right? So you spend 2 hours to find one person to get on a consult with, right? If you're lucky, right? It typically doesn't work that way for most people. So let's say you spent 2 hours and we're going with like a flat rate of like 100 bucks. So that booking that you got really costs you $200. You think it just costs you 2 hours of your time? That really costs you $200 because there's a lot of other things you can do with that time, right? You could have been working your job, making money during that time. You could have been driving Uber. There's a lot of things you can do to make money with that time, right? And so you spent 2 hours of your time costing you other opportunities to make money with the hope that the person you got on a call with might show up, or even for you to even close them. All right. So we like to help people understand they're already spending money doing organic. It's just their perspective on it. Right. So if you take that same perspective, you're like, okay, well, I'm going to spend that 2 hours working a job that may pay me like $100 during that time period.
Yeah.
Take that money, put it into paid ads, and all of a sudden I have 100 leads reaching out to me, wanting to find out about what I do in my program. And I'm able to get, let's say your numbers are just disgusting, right? You get 100 leads and you're only able to book like 10% of those people, which for our clients, that's just be pathetic, right? You book 10% of those people on, that's 10 people you got on a call with for $100 versus spending 2 hours trying to hopefully get one person.
Yes. Love that.
Right. And then if you're terrible with sales and you only close like 2 of those people and your average ticket price is $1,000, you just made $2,000 off $100.
Yes, love it. I might even break this down even more simple if I can. Let me think how to put it. So even if we broke it down, let's even go more simple. Let me think how to explain this. I'll ask you a question. On average, how much money per day will your client spend on a Facebook ad?
It varies. It's a
Say minimum.
broad
What would be
spectrum.
like the minimum at the moment?
Minimum is like $10 a day.
There we go. Let's run with that. Okay. Let's say I was to say anyone listening to this, you've got a choice. You can either spend $10 on Facebook ads, or you can spend an hour on social media, DMing people and creating content. What would you pick? An hour or $10? Like, even if I didn't go and make more than $10, I just pay the $10 and go and watch Netflix or something, Like, it's
Exactly.
going to be a better result. Obviously, the best thing is, okay, great. And I guess another way to look at it, you're either paying with your money or your time. It's that simple. It's like,
that's really it.
You're doing one or the other. And like, if you can spend $10, and even if that only gets you 1 or 2 hot leads, you close one person, and those people are paying you $1,000 for your program or whatever. It's a pretty good ROI. So
It is. And the thing is, people are already wasting money on coffee, wasting money eating out, wasting money on so many different things, whereas like actually putting aside $10 a day to invest into something that can give you a ridiculous return on your investment it's a no-brainer for me. And that's where our motto is like quality and efficiency over speed. Like, if you want quality and efficiency and you're building with the end in mind, you're thinking, well, if I'm getting like $1 a lead, right, which is our average client gets anywhere from $1 to $2 per lead. If you're putting $10 in, right, that's 5 new people that you're speaking to every single day, reaching out to you. Right, that compounds over time, and then all of a sudden by the end of the month you've got over 500 people, and then before you know it you've got a massive audience of people who are interested in what you have to do. And then now all of a sudden, all you need to build a multiple 7-figure business, you only need like 500 clients.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And even the other advantage of paid traffic as well is, even if that person doesn't buy, right, even if you just break even, you're building your list for free anyway. Even if it's
Exactly.
like, I put $100 on, cool, I get 100 leads. Okay, one person bought my $100 program or whatever. Okay, broke even. But now I've got 100 extra people in the database. They're following me on
Exactly.
social media. They're seeing my content. You know, when I launch mine next time, I'm probably still going to run ads anyway, because why not? I know I'm going to make money from it. But even if I don't, maybe I run out of cash. Hey, I got an email database of 1,000 people. I'm going to make some sales there. So I think
Yeah, you
that's
can fish it. It's a digital asset that you have full control over.
yes. Now, question here, Iggy. For trainers never done Facebook ads before, is it worth trying and do it themselves? Do they do a course and learn? Do they hire an ex? Obviously, go to you is the number one thing. Let's just go and reach out to Iggy. That's the first thing to do.
Yeah,
But is it worth giving it a crack on your own, or are you just throwing money down the drain if you do that?
I will tell you right now, Facebook is notorious. They've gotten very good at lighting beginners' money on fire. Even down to the data, the dashboard that they show you in the ads manager. 90% of the information they show you on and just in the ads manager, when you log in, 90% of that data is completely irrelevant. So if you're starting as a beginner, the odds are so grossly stacked against you, it's just stupid, right? And these are things that we learn over the years just from spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on ads. Like just from logging in from the jump, we have to change the dashboard and show our clients how to set up their columns and set up their dashboard just so they can have data that's accurate and that they can make decisions off of.
Yeah.
So if you're starting out as a beginner, you don't know that. You don't know that Facebook's trying to waste your money and they're showing you irrelevant data that makes you feel good about yourself as you're spending money. You're like, oh wow, I have this much reach and I have this many CTR and I have this many link clicks. All this information is a waste of your time. They're just showing you information that's going to encourage you to keep spending money because there's this false positive that they're giving you, right? So I strongly don't recommend just going out and doing it. At the very least, you can buy a course just to understand the basics of it. But even then, because ads are predicated on your ability to interpret the data and make decisions based on what you're seeing, you need actual feedback. Like you need somebody to be able to help you interpret the data and be like, okay, no, shut this off. These are the adjustments we need to make. Here's why we're making the adjustments. Here's what we need to do at this point to optimize it. Here's how we're going to optimize it, and all those different things that you just can't get from a course. One, because the market is changing, right? Our strategy that we started using this year to continue to grow our own online fitness businesses is radically different from what we were doing last year. You know, which is crazy to think about. Is like it's radically different the kind of ads we're running, the funnels that we're using, the systems that we have in place for it versus what we're doing last year. And most of these people are learning from people who had a fitness business 5 years ago. Right. So if you're a beginner, save your money until you have enough to at least get feedback from somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yes, love it. And I'll piggyback off this a couple different ways. So yeah, I agree. I think like you're not going to get results if you try and do it on your own. The only reason I would recommend someone go out and give it a crack on their own is just for a comparison. Just so you can be like, all right, I put whatever, a couple $100 in Facebook ads. I got X amount of leads. Hey, Iggy, here's what I did. Can you do better? And that way you can keep the person honest. Iggy will be able to look at that and be like, okay, you did that, work with me and I'll get you 10 times as much. You know,
yeah, go ahead and do it and then compare it to what we can produce when we work together. And I'll bet my money on it that we will crush whatever you're doing 10 out of 10 times.
Exactly. So that's the only reason I'd recommend doing it. So there's the comparison there. Because even from the sales point, if the person has an Iggy and you're like, yep, I can get you 100 leads for $100, that person's like, oh yeah, I'll just go and do it on my own. Unless they've done it on their own and seen how hard that is to do, it might not mean that much. But if they've tried on their own and they've spent 100, $200 and got 1 or 2 leads, and then you say you can do it for that amount, then it's like, okay, cool, that makes sense, I'll do it. That's the only reason I recommend someone do that. And even when hiring an expert, I think it is important to hire a fitness business expert too. Because if someone's like, there's no qualification to be like a sort of marketing expert these days, you know? And you can go out and someone can tell you they're an expert at Facebook marketing, but if they've never done it with an online fitness business before, maybe they can, but the odds aren't even in their favor. Like
It's not.
there's worlds apart. Like someone could be the best Facebook marketer, maybe not in the world, but a good Facebook marketer that's run some ads for some local plumbers and some local real estate agents and maybe some other online businesses. That doesn't mean it's going to translate to your online fitness business.
It doesn't.
And there's a couple of things. Firstly, that doesn't. You're better off going to someone that does. But also, like, you sort of need someone that can help you a bit with the sales and the system as well. Like if you're starting an online fitness business and you go to a Facebook ad person, yeah, it's not really their job to get you the sale. It's their job to get you the lead, right? Would you
Yep,
agree with that? And then it's sort of
absolutely.
on you to do the sale. Now, if you don't know how to position that sale and you haven't had a business coach, you might think the ads person sucks, but maybe it's not the ads person. Maybe they're getting you some leads. You just suck at closing the sale. That's why I think it's important
Absolutely.
to have that. Would you agree with that, Iggy?
Yeah, 100%. Because I mean, you want to think about it like from like your, let's use a health perspective since we're fitness professionals, right? It's the equivalent of like, the way I like to think about it is like trying to start an online fitness business without like the systems and automation. I say this in our ads all the time, is like it's like a fitness client trying to lose weight without changing their diet or changing anything nutritionally,
Mm,
right? It's just a waste of your time,
mm,
right? And it's a waste of your effort, and you're not going to get anywhere. So it's going to be the same thing with an online fitness business, but a level deeper, right? Trying to start it and you don't have somebody that's actually doing what you want to be doing. What we found is because the market has changed so much, business mentors who used to have an online fitness business that no longer have it, they're teaching people stuff that's grossly outdated. And
mm.
when I'm telling you, like, I could pull up our ad account for our different fitness businesses and show you like how much we're spending on ads, anywhere between like 30 to 50K a week, right? The strategies that you need to be implementing is way different than what it was last year, than what it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Like if you have somebody, you can ask your business mentor, whatever, like how long ago did they have an online fitness business? Like how long ago were they in the trenches?
Mm.
If it was like a year ago, even, they're teaching you outdated stuff. I'm just telling you right now, it's completely outdated. All right. Especially with Facebook's policy changes and things like that. Like our clients have such an advantage because we're running our own businesses still, and we're expanding our own businesses, diving into different markets, diving into different brands and different things like that. So we're seeing what's working, what's not, the policy changes, how it's affecting us, what adjustments we need to make to our systems and our funnels, and tweaks that we need to make to our back end to stay compliant so that we can successfully continue to market. Those are things that you're not going to learn from a textbook. It's like you have to learn it from experience.
Yes, agree. Well, hey Iggy, I could speak to you about all day on these sorts of topics, but I want to be sensitive of your time. There's just a few questions I always like to finish up with. The first question revolves around mentors. So you're obviously a mentor for plenty of fitness business owners out there. I'm curious to hear who your mentors have been. And if you can answer this in a few different ways, if you could give us a paid mentor, so someone that you've paid money to, you've done their coaching, their course, and it was amazing. An unpaid mentor, so someone that you haven't paid money to, but you follow them on Instagram, you listen to their podcast, you watch their YouTube videos, whatever it may be, and then a book that you recommend every fitness professional should read. What can you tell us there? So paid,
Those are
unpaid,
those are
and book.
such loaded questions. Those are loaded questions. So the first question was a paid mentor,
Yes.
right? What paid mentors have we worked with? We've worked with so many paid mentors. I mean, sometimes we'll even like pay for our, like we'll pay an exuberant amount of money to just get access to our competitors program, just to kind of
Mm,
see um what they're doing and kind of where they're at, right? So we pay a lot of money for mentorship. Like, so we've hired um tribal buyers, we've worked with, um gone into gym launch,
mm,
Alex Ramose's
yeah.
inner circle. We've gone into, um actually helped build the back end of a lot of like Tanner Chittister's program and things like that. There's like a lot of different mentors out there, and we've spent money in just about all of them you can think of. And we continually do, just because I like to learn, right? I like to be a knowledge hoarder. So I'm never going to get to a point where I'm like, I know everything. There are people that are doing way more than what we are. So we like to invest just to see what people are doing and learn their processes and things like that, and tweak it and see how we can apply it to our own businesses. And then traffic and funnels, that's another really great. They have awesome, both they have like awesome low ticket programs and then awesome high end programs and things like that. But none of them really like apply to like health and fitness specifically at the level that we need it to. So what we end up doing is investing into a lot of these different programs, eating the fish and spitting out the bones. Right. Finding what's good about it and what we can apply to our own fitness businesses, tweaking it, and then making adjustments. But those are like the paid ones. And then the free ones, I honestly don't consume any information for free. So personally, like I don't follow people's pages to get a ton of free information, because there's not much you can do to action on all the free information that you're going to find. Right, you need step by step. So that's what I pay for. I'm more likely to pay for a program versus just kind of go and see if I can get it for free, because when I pay for it, I get the step by step process and not have to try and decipher what I need to do first.
Love that.
All right. So I wish I could answer that. I mean, people can join our free Facebook group. We have some great information in there, but at the end of the day, if you want to save time, you got to be willing to invest something. All right. So that's what we're about. And then as far as books go, that's another loaded question. I don't have any particular book that I recommend all health and fitness professionals read, because the books that I read typically are centered around leadership. Right. So if somebody wants to, it's hard to say.
I think leadership is still important. I think if you're a personal trainer, you're still leading people. You're still leading your clients. So
absolutely,
even share a couple of those leadership books.
Yeah. So one of my favorite books all time is called How to Be a Motivational Leader by Leroy Enns. It's a fantastic book. Another book that I love is No Excuses, Extreme Ownership.
Oh yes.
The Dichotomy of Leadership. Good to Great is a really good book.
Zig Ziglar.
Good to Great. I'm not sure who it was by, actually. I'm not very good at that. Authors. And then we have recommended books that we give our clients that they're really struggling with sales, right? So there are books that are sales specific, like Sales IQ and Never Split the Difference and things like that. There's so many different books out there. It's hard to say there's just like one that you have to read, because they all have their place. So it's really dependent on what your biggest struggles are. All right. Are you struggling with confidence? Are you struggling with communication? Leadership books are really good. Are you struggling with sales? Sales book, where's some sales recommendation? Are you struggling with like marketing? There's a lot of different books you can read. It's crazy.
Yes, agree. Awesome. Well, Iggy, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover for today. Is there anything I should have asked you but didn't? Anything I forgot to ask you, or anything you want to finish us off with?
I think I want to finish off with the thing that we value a ton, is making sure that our clients feel great about the product that they're delivering to their clients. So one of our things that we're most proud of is our fulfillment systems, where we show people how to actually deliver your service at a high level. Because that's something a lot of people overlook. We can be so focused on how to get clients that we forget how important it is to keep them and really make sure that they're being happy. But how do you do that without selling your soul to the back end, right? And building a prison for yourself that you're trying to escape.
Yes, so good. No, I'll piggyback off that because that's such a good point. It's like, if you're selling a crap product, you can only really sell it once because you've burnt that person. You know, yeah, you might be good at
Exactly.
sales. Yeah, great. You make one sale, you over promise, under deliver. Okay, you make one sale, but you've burnt that sale for life. That person's never coming back. They're never telling their friends, you know. But if it's a good product, okay, you make that one sale once, that person's going to stay for longer. They're going to buy your next program. They're going to leave a review. You're going to leverage that review on social media. They're going to tell their friends. They're going to tell their friends, and it repeats that there. So that's important. But the other side of it is, yeah, how can we leverage it? You know, how can we work smarter and not harder? And if you want the answer to
Exactly.
that, reach out to Iggy. You know, you can probably Instagram's the best start point. I'll put the link in the show notes, or just go to Iggy_fitness_180. Iggy, thanks very much for your time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It was an absolute pleasure.